Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to create an amortization table for a car loan, and then we can more easily experiment with making extra payments and the impact on our total interest paid. Now, an amortization table is going to be a very detailed payment schedule for a loan. It doesn't matter if it's a car loan, a mortgage, house loan. So our basic car loan here is a 4.9% interest car loan over 60 months or 5 years. And based on our car price, down payment, loan amount, we have our payment already calculated, $451.81. So off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and create the amortization table. And let's see, we're going to need to know the, so for our month, we'll go ahead and have month 1. I'm going to grab this and autofill it down so that I'm all the way to 60 months. There we go. So we have 60 months of payments. And let's go ahead and calculate our beginning balance, our interest, our principal, and our ending balance. Okay, so the beginning balance, when we start off there in month 1, well, that's going to be easy. That's going to be equal to our loan amount right over there in the calculator. Press enter. And you know what else I should have in here? I'm also going to put in our payment. Yeah, we'll just put payment. Sometimes it could be nice to also have an extra payment and total payment, but I think we'll just play around with that payment value there. Okay, so now we've got our beginning balance in. Our interest for that payment period for that month is always going to be based off of the beginning balance. So my interest for that particular month is going to be equal to my beginning balance. Notice that I'm grabbing the beginning balance for the month as opposed to the beginning balance for the original loan. And that's just going to make it easier to do our subsequent rows. So our interest is going to be based off of that month, and we're going to multiply it by our interest rate divided by 12. So we want to get the monthly version of that annual interest rate. So our interest for the first month is going to be $98 even. Nice. Now the principal is going to be the amount of our payment minus that particular amount of interest. So I'm going to go ahead and plug my payment in over here. My payment is going to be equal to my calculated payment, which is going to be right over here. I'm going to press F4 on my Windows machine, make that absolute, which means my principal is going to be equal to my payment minus my interest. What does all this mean? Well, I'm going to be paying $450 a month for this car loan. $98 goes to interest charges. $350 goes to the balance of the loan. So my ending balance is going to be equal to my beginning balance minus the amount of principal. So I'm not reducing my car loan by $450, what I paid. I'm only reducing it by the amount of the principal portion of that payment. My beginning balance in month 2 is going to be equal to the ending balance from the prior month, and then all of these other calculations are going to be the same. So everything's going to match up there. Now, if you get those hashtags on your own spreadsheet, that just means we need to make our columns a little bit wider so that all those numbers fit. And you can see already I got some wackiness going on. So let's check this out real quick. Now, my interest calculation, let me look at that one, and it's being based off of E3. That looks good, but look what I forgot to do. I forgot to make an absolute reference out of that interest cell. So B5 on my original interest calculation, I'm going to make that absolute. That will solve that particular issue, and that makes everything else correct. You'll notice that my interest is going to keep going down each month. That's because interest is based off of that beginning balance, and my beginning balance is going to be going down each month because I am paying something towards principal. Now that we've got that taken care of, I can select the second row, double click that fill handle, autofill it all the way down. We're going to know that we're successful if our ending balance on our last payment is zeroed out. We have paid off that loan. Now that we've made our amortization schedule, in fact, we can also do stuff like this. We can, I'll put it actually down here. We can sum up all of the interest paid, and you'll notice that our total interest paid is going to be the finance charge. So $3108, which matches up with what we had for finance cost a little bit earlier. Don't worry, if I showed the cents on there, we would see 3108.65 and 3108.65. So that's our interest charge. Now what we can do is play around with extra payments. So let's go to a particular month. Let's say in month 7, we get a big tax refund, we get some money coming in, and say, you know, we're going to make a big chunky payment towards our car loan. So instead of $451 on a particular month, I'm going to pay $4,000 on a particular month. Now that $4,000 payment means we're going to have a big chunk go to principal, which means it's going to greatly reduce our beginning balance, which is going to reduce all of those interest charges. So making that one big payment right there, notice at some point I'm going to go to negatives, which I really don't want to show, but so I think what I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and delete those, delete that, and delete those. We're still a little bit off, but it's pretty darn close. And we can see now by paying that loan off sooner, we'll be paying it off at month 51, or really month 50, as opposed to month 60. We're paying it off 10 months earlier, and our total interest charges have dropped to $23.30 compared to the original $31. So that's what extra payments can do. Now, instead of paying $4,000 extra per month, we could have figured, all right, well, what if instead of paying $450 a month as it was calculated, what if instead I paid $600 a month? I'll just change that first payment to $600, and I'm going to make each subsequent payment be equal to that $600. And then I can just autofill this down. And again, we're looking for the point to where our ending balance goes 0 or below. Let's see if it happens here. There it is. And I'll go ahead and just delete all of that extraneous stuff. In fact, that's fine. That all gets zeroed out. That's cool. And then we can even delete all of these portions here. So we're, once again, paying off that car loan sooner. We're paying it off in 44 months. That's a little bit less than 4 years instead of the original 60 months. And we can see our total finance charge is about $22.50, which of course is going to be less than the original finance charge of $31.08. So ultimately what you're trying to do here is pay extra per month on that loan, and it's going to have a double benefit. For one, you're going to be paying off that loan sooner than you expected, which means it's going to free up that payment money. So instead of $600 a month going towards that car loan, now $600 a month can go towards some other debt and pay that off even faster. And of course, it's going to have the other benefit of that you're going to pay less total interest charges on that original loan. So you'll be saving money that way too. The amortization table is a really useful tool for playing around with extra payments towards a fixed loan. Thanks for hanging out with me.